All right, let's jump right in. We're about to hear a story from a man named William. He's 77 years old now, and he spent 50, that's 50 years of his life chasing, well, all the wrong things. And the lesson he learned? He wants to share it with us so we don't have to make the same mistake.
And this right here, this is the central idea, the great deception that William fell for. And if we're being honest, it's a trap that most of us fall into too. It's this belief that once we get that one thing, the promotion, the house, the respect, we will finally be happy. But as William found out the hard way, that finish line, it has a funny way of moving just as you get close.
I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. 50 years. That's half a century spent sprinting towards a destination that wasn't even real. So William's story, it's not just some nice reflection. It's a warning. It's a lesson he paid for with his life, and he's basically giving it to us for free.
So let's give this thing a name. Let's call it what it is: the trap of the moving finish line. You can almost think of it like a psychological treadmill that just keeps us running and running, always striving, but never ever arriving.
You know the phrase, right? It's how we postpone our own happiness. We say, oh, I'll be happy when I get that promotion. Or I'll be happy when we finally pay off the house. And the really big one, I'll finally be able to relax and be happy when I retire. This is the language of the chase.
So, how does a 50-year chase even begin? To really get the lesson here, we have to understand the journey. And for William, this marathon started with just a single moment way back in his childhood. See, William's dad was a factory worker. He'd come home every night totally exhausted, hands all beat up, and still, people treated him with this lack of respect, like he was invisible. And as a 10-year-old kid, William saw that, and something inside him just clicked. He made a vow. That is not going to be me. I'm going to be somebody. I'm going to be respected.
And that one vow from a 10-year-old boy, it fueled an entire lifetime of sacrifice. We're talking 60, sometimes 70-hour work weeks, for decades. And the cost was just enormous. He missed everything. Family dinners, his kids' baseball games. He basically missed them growing up. All of it in the name of becoming somebody.
So, after all those decades of grinding, of sacrificing his time, his family, did he do it? Did he become that somebody he wanted to be? Well, let's take a look at the view from the top of that mountain he'd been climbing his whole life. He had it all. Seriously. The big title, the corner office with the amazing view, people calling him sir, his name on the door. I mean, by every single external measure you could think of, he had won. He had crossed that finish line he'd been sprinting towards since he was just a kid. Okay, so this is it, right? This is the moment of triumph, the culmination of a lifetime of work. He's sitting in that fancy office, looking out the window at the city down below. And what's the feeling? What's the great reward for all that sacrifice? A deep, hollow nothing. He said it was like climbing this massive mountain, only to get to the top and find there was nothing there. Just another, bigger mountain off in the distance. The victory he had given up absolutely everything for felt completely empty. It actually took him another 20 years after that moment in the corner office to finally figure out why. Why did the prize he'd worked so hard for bring him zero peace? The answer, he finally realized, wasn't outside of him at all. It never was. And here is the light bulb moment. This is the crucial distinction he finally got. He thought he was chasing things, money, a title, a big house. But he wasn't. He was chasing feelings. He wanted to feel safe. He wanted to feel like he mattered. He wanted to feel loved. And he was trying to buy those internal feelings with external stuff. It just doesn't work that way. And this whole mistake nearly cost him his marriage. He thought his job was to provide, to give his wife nice things. But she kept telling him, I don't want the things, I want you. She wanted him to be present, to listen, to just be there. He was so busy providing for her that he forgot how to be with her. This realization really hit home as he got older and just started watching his friends. He saw two completely different ways people were living out their final decades. And believe me, it had nothing to do with how much money they had.
He saw friends who were still stuck on that same treadmill, still chasing, still comparing, still keeping score. Can you imagine being 84 years old and still letting your neighbor's car ruin your day? These friends, in his words, were just absolutely miserable. But then he had other friends, like a guy named Earl who was 86. And the difference was just night and day. Earl wasn't chasing a single thing. He was just being. He was grateful. He was always learning something new. He was just happy to be here.
William realized he'd spent 60 years trying to be somebody, and here was Earl, who was just trying to be. And that was everything.
So that is what he finally understood real freedom is. It's not about money. It's psychological. It's that internal state of peace where you don't need anyone's validation, or a fancy title, or a specific outcome to feel worthy and okay, right here, right now. Okay, so after 50 years of running, what is William's big message for us? For you listening to this right now, it's that the entire game, the whole premise of the chase, is just wrong.
That one little phrase he says is a complete lie. It's a formula for a life of postponed living. Think about it. If you're waiting until everything is perfect to finally be happy, you're going to be waiting forever. Life is never perfect. The journey is the whole point. Because that feeling of safety, of mattering, of being enough, it isn't waiting for you at some future finish line. It's already here. It was inside him when he was 25, and it was still there at 73 when he finally noticed it. You don't have to earn it. You just have to stop and accept it. And so this all comes down to the one question William really wants us to ask ourselves. What's the finish line you're sprinting towards? What is your "I'll be happy when"? And maybe more importantly, what would change if you decided right now that you don't actually need to cross it to be okay?